because next month is November, which I know as NaNoWriMo month. And let me write that. There we go. Okay, first, has anyone heard of this?
No.
I mentioned it briefly in my first speech. Okay, so no one heard of it?
No.
Okay. What's known as, this is known for National Novel Writing Month. Yeah. The website is nanowrimo.org for more info. Basically, what is NaNoWriMo? It's in the month of November. You have to write, which is 30 days, by the way, which is an important point, and you have to write 50,000 words in the month of November. Basically, a short novel. Although you don't have to totally complete the novel, you just have to get that many words. And you don't want to cheat by just like copy pasting the same paragraphs all the time too. That's cheating. Now, why would someone want to do this? If you want to write a novel, or you're daydreaming all the time, and it just always in the back of your head, you just always want to write a novel, but you haven't been able to do it, this might be a good thing for you. However, it's not easy, okay, because you have to write about 2,000 words a day. I think the calculation is 1,666 words a day. And some people go religiously on that. Once they hit that 1,666 words, they'll stop. But I suggest if you do 2,000 words a day, that way if you get overworked for one day or something at work, or if there's some family emergency, you have a little bit of buffer time. How long does it take you? It takes, well, for me, took about 2 hours every night to write 2,000 words. But this really depends on how fast you can type and how fast you can think. Because some people have written like 100,000 words in a month. I don't know how they do it. I think they don't have a job. But the most important things about NaNoWriMo are, what will you learn from it? Now, you won't write the next great American novel in NaNoWriMo. It's not going to happen unless, I don't know, you have some serendipity and you're just really lucky. But it's probably not going to happen. But I learned a lot about myself writing Nano. The first thing I learned is it looks very intimidating to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And just for a frame of reference, the average fiction novel is about 100,000 words that you buy on the shelf at a bookstore. So it's about half the length of a normal novel. But it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be going into it. The hardest days were the first 3 days. Those were really, really hard, because I'm just not used to pumping out words at that pace. And you have to, when you have this goal in mind, okay, I got to write 2,000 words today, you can't edit at all. Like, take out the backspace key on your keyboard, and the delete key. You can't touch it at all. I know we have grammarians and Toastmasters, but NaNoWriMo, forget grammar. After those first 3 days are really hard to get my brain pumping. After that, it was very strange when I sat down, because at first it'll take me like, half an hour to really get going on it. But after the first, half a week or a week or so, I could get into the writing mode in about a minute. The brain just goes, okay, it's time for this, and just will switch on. And so it's like you're greasing your thinking gears, your writing gears. And so it taught me not necessarily that what I wrote was all that good, because it wasn't, but it teach me how to get into the creative mode. Because especially I found that there's some things you're not allowed to write before November 1st for the official manuscript, but you can sort of write outlines and stuff. Ironically, this speech is supposed to be an organization speech. But I found that things that I thought might be cool ended up being kind of lame when I would write them out. The thing now, you have to fill in a lot of spots in between. And those, in between the things where, okay, I know where this is supposed to be, those spots where I had to think of something on the spot were the most interesting parts, the stuff that has to just fly out of your brain because you can't stop typing. Now, no matter what you write, hold on. You know, once you write all the time, you know, the quality doesn't matter. And you know that when I did the speech contest, I gave a speech here, like, I gave that speech like 5 times. And, you know, it wasn't, you know, great the first time, you know, it develops. And so, I mean, don't expect, you know, your first round to be that good. You know, writing, I found, is really just a tool, you know, for getting words in your thoughts, images in your mind to a piece of paper. And so don't worry about grammar too much when you're trying to be creative. However, is NaNoWriMo the right thing for you? If you want to write a novel and you haven't really done it, it might be a fun challenge to do if you have time. Like I said, you need a lot of spare time to do this. But I'd also suggest, if you have to spend all day on a computer already, it might not be that, unless you have a wonderful ergonomic setup, I wouldn't really suggest pushing yourself too hard on it. Because being on a computer for that long is not that good. The rewards. When I first told my friends I was doing this, and again, it's puzzled, like, why did you put yourself through that? But even if you might not be impressed with what you write, everyone else will be very impressed that you did this. Like I said, it also gives you the ability to put your brain into creative mode. Even if some parts aren't great, some parts will be. And finally, even if you don't do Rimo, the website is a really good resource, even if you're going to write speeches and need to do research. Okay.